Hey everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about why I broke the number one rule to the FIRE movement and bought a $100,000 car. Yes, you heard me correctly. I did buy an expensive car, and we'll go through a car gender reveal a little bit later in this video. But I just want to talk about more about why I did what I did, because I think that obviously context matters in this typical scenario, or this particular scenario, especially when it comes to me and in my fire journey in my life. So, all right, let's talk about a little bit of history here. I found the fire movement in roughly about 2015, 2014, 2015 time frame, in pursuing the fire journey ever since then. Basically, just because I wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I had plans to hike the Appalachian Trail, I think in 2020, and then COVID hit and all that, so I didn't get to hike the trail until 2022, when I retired early with, I think I had $2 million or something at that time or whatever. So that's what I did in 2022. Took off, retired what, April of 2022, hiked the Appalachian Trail, got back in November, and then kind of got bored. Was kind of body was going through some issues and whatnot. And I talked about this in previous videos, but for all the new folks and all that stuff, trying to just recap a little bit here. I went back to work in roughly, let's see, February of 2023. So I've been working ever since. And I had to kind of figure out what the next steps are, for my life and all that. Am I done with the fire movement? So I think that kind of matters, right? I was kind of feeling a little sick after I got done hiking the Appalachian Trail. So a little update there. I feel like I'm 100% repaired at this point. I was having a little bit of gut issues, and that's expected when you're eating crappy food for 6 months. So I can pretty much say that I'm back to where I was. Now I did gain a lot of weight back, but that's a whole different issue. But as far as my gut is concerned, I'm pretty much back to where I was before I even went on the trail. So that's good news there. My portfolio here has changed quite significantly since me retiring in 2022, and then getting back in November of 2022, and then starting work again. So portfolio is at all-time highs. Net worth is at all-time highs. And the market's not quite at all-time highs, although it's up almost 10% this year. It's right up near the highs. Matter of fact, we couldn't even hit the highs today. That is kind of a little bit of the scenario and a little bit of the back history, a little bit of the context of what happened over the last several years. How I kind of, I guess I really need to talk about how I found the fire movement and how I got to where I am today. I mean, I've talked about it in previous videos significantly. I saved pretty much about 70% of my take-home pay, lived cheap, lived frugally for many, many years, right? For roughly about 8 years. In this video, I really want to talk about why I did what I did, right? Bought a $100,000 car, and somebody in some previous comments over the last several months or so, they're like, oh, why don't you, you got bored in early retirement. Well, why don't you find some friends, right? Why don't you go hang out with some people? You need to find some friends and family or whatever. And there's some truth to that for sure, right? I was telling them, like, I'm like, I know how I meet people. Cars are one of them, right? Have had some sports cars over the years, right? Souped up Mustangs and Porsche, Corvette, and now this car. So, for the longest time, I put off buying new cars for a long, long time. And technically, in my life, actually, now that I think about it, I've never owned a brand new car. I've never bought a brand new car from a dealership ever in my entire life. I've always bought anywhere from 2 to 5 year old cars. So, right now, I still own a almost 20-year-old Pathfinder, right? And that was me putting off and delaying gratification, and that's how you get to where you are. That's how you retire early. But now it's time to, let go of the reins a little bit and start enjoying fruits of the labor, right? So I'm not quite 50 years old yet, And I think I've deserved some of the things that I'm going to be doing. Now, this is not the only reveal I have planned. I have some other stuff planned as well. I talked about this in a couple of videos ago. There's some juicy stuff coming up. Well, this is just one of them. I feel like, I haven't really talked about when I want to retire the next time. That is going to be in a future video as well. I got fire days left down here at 1085, but that is just kind of a rough estimate. I don't know how much longer it's going to be. I could quit working today if I want, but I do have some other things in mind too. This video and what I bought in this video might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that is perfectly okay. Everybody has their own thing that they're in, right? Somebody might say you're crazy for doing what you did. But I might think you're crazy for buying $100,000 set of golf clubs, right? But if that's your thing, then I completely understand it from that point of view. Everybody has their own thing they're into, and this just happens to be one of my things I'm into. And I've talked about this, 5 years ago in other videos, that my downfall is sports cars. That is one of the issues that I have where, I know that I'm going to want to own a couple of cars in my retirement, so I had to plan for that. You have to plan for that. If you just get to early retirement, just scraping by, making $30,000 a year in dividend income, and you only need 20 to live, that leaves you $10,000 to live, right? I mean, this is just simplification, oversimplification, right? If you're just scraping by in early retirement, then you're probably going to be deprived of some of the things you really want. Am I fat fired? Probably not. I wouldn't consider myself fat fired, but I'm doing well, and I'm perfectly happy where I'm at. I'm not scraping by, and that is all planned, in the early retirement planning stages of what you really need. Could I have retired with $750,000? Yeah, I could have, right? But I would have been scraping by. I would have probably been stuck over in some other third world country. And not to say that that's not a bad thing, right? I mean, you can live like a king over there in some of those countries. But it also limits where you can go. You're going to have to stay over there for quite a while, grow your portfolio before you come back, if you want to come back, right? So everybody is going to have their own thing that they're into, and just to say, oh, I've, retired at 35 years old with $1 million, yeah, that sounds very cliche or sounds very, I guess it's subjective. I don't know. Just say, oh, I retired in my 30s, with $1 million. Well, you're going to probably deprive yourself of some of the finer things in life. And maybe that's not your thing. That's fine. I'm not a person that eats caviar. I'm not a person that flies first class everywhere. I'm not a person that, pretty much, just buys a new car every year. I've never owned a brand new car. So, but this is one thing that I've been wanting for over 10 years now. Okay, so what are we talking about here? I'm going to show you what I bought. It's going to be it's probably not going to be very epic for some people or climatic for some people, but for me, it was. All right, I am going to go through my portfolio in a future video here because there's been significant changes in my portfolio, but right now there's quite a bit of capital into some Schwab money market funds that pay 5% right now, so these are the both right there. I talked about that in a previous video, so that's partially why I'm making over $75,000 in interest and dividend income annually right now, but that will be changing significantly in the future, so we'll go over that as well in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the car that I purchased. So let's go ahead and do the gender reveal on that right now. All right, time to do a reveal here. Just a bit of a review. Sorry, reveal here. There we go. Toyota. Yep. Yep. Toyota. Just a freaking little Toyota here. Yep. Alright, so there you have it. I bought a 30-year-old Toyota Supra Turbo. So, yeah, I know. It sounds so, I don't know if it sounds stupid to some people, and that's okay if it does, but look, I can always sell this car for what I paid for it, and most likely the car is just going to go up over time anyway. They're not making these things anymore. Parts are hard to find. Parts are super expensive. This car is, I wouldn't consider it an asset, but it's definitely not an appreciating debt or depreciating asset. It's going to pretty much stay where it is, if not go up, right? 10 years ago, when I wanted one of these things, I could have bought one for half the price. Okay, now this car back in 1994, it was roughly about $45,000. Now it's, $100,000. So you can get them a little bit cheaper, but this is an original turbo. This is an original 6-speed, and it is an original left-hand drive. So that brings up the value significantly. It will hold its value. It's in really good shape, under 100,000 miles on it. Yeah, I just love the cars. It is it just puts a smile on my face when I drive it. People can't really understand unless you're a car person. That's why I did what I did, and this is part of me just, satisfying some of the things I wanted in life. Why did I work this entire time to make, X amount of dollars to just retire and not enjoy it? That's the FIRE movement for you. That's early retirement for you. That is, just the finer things in life of working really hard. That is just what it is. You can't take this stuff to the grave. When have you ever seen a U-Haul fall in a hearse, right? I keep talking about that over and over and over. Can't take this to the grave. You got to enjoy it. Anyways, I'm probably not going to show the vehicle until some point later down the line. I might actually share more about the vehicle, but for now, that's all you get. So let me know what your finer thing is in life and what makes you happy, and what type of just kind of there's some other things coming in the future, and just me executing my plan. This is one little step in executing that plan. We'll talk about this more in future videos. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and we'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.